fallen Gettysburg soldier was honored for Veterans Day, and Waynesburg held its annual Veterans Day parade.
United States and China relations are improving, and the FCC is instituting a new rule. All this and more right here on WCTV.
And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Welcome back to the Newscast live at 5. I'm Tim Durkin.
And I'm Joe Venzel. Despite the Battle of Gettysburg being nearly 200 years old, the effects of it are still felt to this day. On Veterans Day, some members of the Waynesburg community came together to help honor the memory of a fallen soldier from that battle. Tim Durkin reports.
I asked them if they would like to come up and we'd do something at the David Atchison marker.
The simple question was, what do you need us to do?
Saturday, November 11th, members of the Waynesburg University Community and Company A of the 140th Pennsylvania Reenacting Group paid tribute to a fallen soldier, David Atchison.
And they moved him from where he was wounded to a boulder about half a mile away, and they buried him there at nighttime, and they marked the boulder with DA 140th P.
After the fighting ended, his fellow men rediscovered the body and brought it back to Washington for a proper burial. However, that was almost 200 years ago. Since then,
over 150 years, Mother Nature takes its toll.
The grave became dirty as the years went on, and once Red found out, he immediately wanted to clean it. There was just one issue.
To have you clean that marker, that tombstone, but you have to get the ancestors' permission.
A task you'd think would be hard, and yet?
And they found me.
Atchison's descendants gave Red the go-ahead on cleaning the grave. To celebrate, he invited members of the 140th Pennsylvania Reenacting Unit to perform a 21-gun salute.
Anytime we have the opportunity to pay tribute to, in this particular case, a member of the 140th, it's an opportunity for us to pay tribute to the men that we represent.
With the preparations complete, there was just one thing left to do.
Make it. I brought up 4 buckets of hot water and I started scrubbing.
After the scrubbing, the reenactors gave their salute for everyone in attendance, which included some descendants of Atchison. To end, they took a solemn moment to appreciate the amazing, enduring legacy of David Atchison.
Being able to pay tribute to men like David Atchison, I don't know that I can put it into words.
For Channel 14, I'm Tim Durkin. Waynesburg University honored veterans last Thursday with an event. Anyone was welcome to attend, including alumni and veterans. Haley Ryan got the story.
Waynesburg University held its annual Veterans Day walk last Thursday at 6 p.m.
Albie Reinhardt, I'm an alum of Waynesburg University, and I'm very proud to be able to say that. And I'm here this evening coming up to participate in this to honor veterans tonight. I'm a retired U.S. Army, Pennsylvania National Guard, and have an official U.S. Army retirement. And I was so thoughtful. It was so thoughtful for the people at Waynesburg University to offer the evening to honor the veterans, and I had to come up and support them for the way they support veterans. Thank you.
The event welcomed all sorts of guests, from veterans to professors here on campus. Many people were gathered around listening to Christmas music and enjoying some cookies and hot chocolate.
I love working at Waynesburg, and both my husband and I are veterans, and we have loved the fact that we've gotten to serve and be able to serve others. And most of my family also served. Grandparents and cousins, we've all committed to the military. And one of the things I love about Waynesburg is that we're able to connect our passion with service. And so for the last 3 years, we've been able to connect our passion to service with helping veterans that are often forgotten, and that's incredibly important to me. As somebody who had grandparents that served in World War II and family that served in Vietnam and Korea, that we're able to provide something, to provide a stocking, to give them an experience where we're able to say, we didn't forget you.
And guests were asked to make a stocking full of goodies for the veterans in care homes.
Those veterans are recognized, not just veterans that are out and about for Veterans Day. And I love to bring veterans in to talk to the students here because I think it connects us to the past and it makes sure that nobody loses that history. And so the whole point of tonight is to be able to connect our students with maybe an experience they didn't know before.
For WCTV, I'm Haley Ryan.
Waynesburg recently held its annual Veterans Day Parade, and WCTV was there to do a live production. Logan Lepiscopo recaps the story.
Saturday, November 4th, East High Street was filled with Greene County residents for the annual Veterans Day Parade. Every year, the community of Greene County comes together to celebrate those that have served and are still actively serving in the United States Armed Forces.
So for me, I'm really excited that we're taking the opportunity to give back to the community and cover the Veterans Day Parade, which I think it's so critical because you're talking about people in the area who've made incredible sacrifices in their service for the country, and that needs to be celebrated, and I think the parade's a great way to do that.
Here on WCTV, we covered the event live with a full camera production and a live crowd reporter interviewing members of the community.
So how do you think the parade went? I think it went fantastic, honestly. I was very happy with the product we produced, based on everything that's happened in years prior and the fact that it was the first time a lot of people who were crewed for that time doing a parade. I feel we made a fantastic product.
The parade was full of music, dance, government officials, princesses, and even alpacas. Thank you to all those that have served and will continue to serve this country. Stay tuned on WCTV for coverage of the annual Greene County Christmas Parade, which will be on Saturday, December 2nd.
We also have some ideas that we're bringing forth with a Christmas parade that were basically outcomes from last year.
For WCTV News, I'm Logan Lepiscopo.
Employers from the surrounding area visited the university last Wednesday to meet with students. This gave both parties a chance to connect, which could lead to further opportunities later on. Michael McKenzie makes his debut on the Newscast with the story.
On Wednesday, November 8th, Waynesburg University held their Business and Career Fair here on the third floor of Stover Hall to give students a chance to speak to prospective businesses and make networking connections to help them in their future.
So the business fair that we're putting on today, we have 21 employers currently here. So it's mainly for business students, but also for communication students, for computer science students. So these employers are looking to hire students in those areas, either for internships or for job opportunities. And also the employers are here that they can network with as well.
So Northwestern Mutual, we're hiring for financial services positions, specifically our internship program, our postgraduate program, and it revolves around financial planning. We're really excited. We have a top internship program in the country, and it lets students test drive the work of a financial planner.
Well, first I talked to the FBI because they're looking for positions in my major, which is computer science, and I just talked to a few other tables besides that. And most tables didn't have anything for me besides the FBI, which mainly stayed there.
Okay, I come typically to events here on campus to seek students who might have the interest and the background and the desire to become Army officers. Leadership is a very important part of business, and today's Business Career Fair, I'm looking for some students who might want to partake in Army ROTC while they're seeking a business degree here at Waynesburg.
So I've been with Northwestern for 10 years, and I've actually been coming to Waynesburg quite a bit to hire students. So over the course of my 8 years in the position of hiring, found a lot of really great students at Waynesburg who have come through our internship, found full-time positions. It's always been a really great experience coming to the campus.
So my hope is that even if students come and they don't get an internship or a job opportunity, which is entirely possible that they can, but even if they don't, that they at least network with the employers. They know more about the job market, about what's expected of them, more about the opportunities that are out there, and they feel more prepared when they leave here looking for those opportunities.
Waynesburg University hopes that all students who attended the event came away with valuable future connections and a better idea about what their life is going to look like outside of college. Reporting for WCTV, I'm Michael McKenzie.
Last Friday, Waynesburg's Japanese Culture and Anime Club hosted a movie night. The film of the night was My Neighbor Totoro, a classic Japanese piece from the acclaimed studio Ghibli. Snacks and drinks were provided, and viewers got an authentic theater experience by being in Stewart's Auditorium.
Having a movie night to hopefully boost members, build community, and some people in the club haven't seen the film, and so Studio Ghibli is like the Disney for Japanese.
So we're hoping to accomplish introducing more people on campus to this film, to Studio Ghibli, so they can explore Japanese culture. Since this is kind of something that's a starter, like a classic in Japanese culture, if they see one movie, maybe they will explore the culture a little bit more and start coming to club.
Last Thursday, the Pathway Center hosted an interview workshop for students to attend. The Pathway Center wanted to clear up confusion surrounding interviews while also giving advice on how to perform better in one. At the end, students got to write their own proposal letter and have it be checked for effectiveness.
Today we hosted an interview prep workshop. It was a coordinated effort between the Pathway Center and Purpose and Leadership Academy, which hosts professional development events on campus throughout the semester. And the purpose of the interview prep workshop was just really to be a launching point for students who are preparing to interview for either internships or jobs, as well as for students who are planning to participate in Future Professionals Day in the spring.
That's all for local and campus news. Coming up next, we'll have news from around the nation. Welcome back to the Newscast, live at 5. In Virginia, the mother of a first grader who police say shot his teacher in January will spend 21 months in prison. A federal judge handed down Deja Taylor's sentence on Wednesday. She pleaded guilty to using illegal drugs while possessing a gun and lying about her drug use while purchasing that gun. Taylor's son was just 6 years old when police said he shot his teacher, Abby Zwerner, in the hand and chest while at school. Prosecutors presented evidence showing Taylor was habitually using marijuana when she purchased and owned that gun. Zwerner, whose injuries required 4 surgeries, told the court her life will never be the same. Taylor also pleaded guilty to a state child neglect charge. She is scheduled to be sentenced on that charge in December. Taylor's attorneys said that she has accepted responsibility.
UN Security Council adopts a resolution calling for a series of humanitarian pauses in Gaza. The United Nations Security Council has adopted a resolution calling for a series of humanitarian pauses in favor of adopting the resolution during Wednesday's session. 3 countries, the US, Russia, and the UK, abstained from the vote. The resolution calls, quote, for urgent and extended humanitarian pauses and corridors throughout the Gaza Strip for a sufficient number of days to enable, consistent with international humanitarian law, the full, rapid, safe, and unhindered humanitarian access for United Nations humanitarian agencies and their implementing partners, end quote. The non-governmental organization Human Rights Watch praised the resolution's adoption with this quote. The UN Security Council just sent a rare and powerful message to Israel, Hamas, and other armed groups that compliance with international humanitarian law is non-negotiable. So far, there has been widespread disregard for civilians by all parties. That the U.S. finally stopped paralyzing the Council on Israel and Palestine so this resolution on the plight of children in Gaza could move forward should be a wake-up call to Israeli authorities that global concern, even among its allies, is strong, end quote, Louis Charbonneau, UN Director at Human Rights Watch, said in a statement.
Progress was made in U.S.-China relations Wednesday. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to some big deals during their summit near San Francisco. Xi agreed to take some steps to restore military communications with the U.S. That's been a major issue that has fueled incidents like the Chinese spy balloon and military jets' intimidation over the South China Sea. Xi also agreed to go after companies that produce precursor chemicals to fentanyl. Also, Biden applied pressure for China to push Iran away from steps that would aggravate tensions in the Middle East.
A new study has suggested that microplastics could influence the weather. Microplastics, tiny pieces broken down from plastic waste, has already been discovered in drinking water, food, air, and even in our blood. But now, they're being found in cloud samples as well. In a study published in the American Chemical Society's Environmental Science and Technology Letters, researchers report finding microplastics in the sky above a mountaintop in China. Researchers found that these microplastics could actually play a role in cloud formation. According to the study's authors, further research must be done. Many questions still remain unanswered.
That's all for national news. Next up is Keegan Robbie with business and entertainment news. But first, we have Logan Lepiscopo outside for a quick look at the weather.
Degree day here in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. The leaves have been dropping, but will the temperatures be? Stay tuned for the full forecast.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
Welcome back. I'm Keegan Robbie, and this is your business and entertainment update. Thanksgiving is next week, and we're getting a glimpse into what you can expect if you're traveling. AAA says this Thanksgiving travel period is expected to be the busiest in several years, and the TSA expects it to be a record setter for air travel. In today's Consumer Watch, Cole Higgins has a closer look and some tips and hacks to make your traveling a little smoother.
If you're traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday, pack your patience. It's expected to be a record-setting travel season in the skies and a busy one on the roads.
The trend is that people are still traveling in very large volumes.
AAA is forecasting 55.4 million people will be traveling to their holiday destinations, including more than 49 million who will drive to their destination between the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Sunday after the holiday. If you're hitting the road, AAA says that Wednesday afternoon is still the worst time to hit the roads, with AAA recommending you leave on actual Thanksgiving Day.
It shortens the amount of time that you're at your destination, but it also shortens the amount of time that you're in transit.
The Sunday after Thanksgiving is also brutal, but not as busy as it could be.
Hybrid schedules and remote schedules have changed everything because now people can leave for holiday travel at different times.
If you're taking to the skies, brace yourself for packed airports and possible delays and cancellations. The Transportation Security Administration is bracing for an all-time record number of passengers at airports nationwide on this Sunday after Thanksgiving. So what can you do to minimize the chaos at the airport? One travel expert says avoid checking a bag in case your flight gets canceled and you're moved to a different one. Take public transit to the airport or book your parking spot online now. And finally, give yourself plenty of time, be flexible and very patient.
There's always going to be some amount of cancellations that happen as long as we have bad weather.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
The Federal Communications Commission adopted a new rule Wednesday intended to help ensure universal access to broadband internet service. Under the regulation, internet service providers' business practices will be scrutinized for digital discrimination based on income or race. The companies will be held liable if their actions impact consumers' access to broadband differently. That includes decisions on matters like network upgrades, pricing, marketing, and maintenance. Advocates hope the threat of FCC action will stop companies from offering inferior service in proper, less profitable areas. The company most in activist crosshairs has to be AT&T. The provider has been accused of laying new fiber optic cable in richer neighborhoods while neglecting to upgrade old networks in high poverty areas. AT&T has disputed those accusations. Today in entertainment news, a music superstar and a family drama head to theaters. David Daniel has previews of both in the Hollywood Minute.
Dolly Parton is taking her new album Rockstar to theaters. A global first listen fan event will feature tracks and music videos from the album, an interview with Dolly, and a performance of her classic song 9 to 5. Showings are tonight, plus select encores tomorrow night, with part of the proceeds from ticket sales going to the nonprofit music education program Music Will. More info at dollyrockstarevent.com.
They always had a special bond over art.
Your drawings are the best, Kay, seriously. But I have to go away for a bit.
This is what we wanted, right? For Abby to have her own life.
I'm just worried. I mean, Abby is the only friend he's ever had.
The bond between siblings is at the center of When Time Got Louder. Willow Shields plays Abby, torn between loving her new life in college and guilt over leaving her brother, who has autism and is nonverbal. When Time Got Louder is in select theaters and on VOD Friday. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Jimmy Kimmel is returning to host the Academy Awards again. It will be the late-night host's fourth time at the helm of the prestigious Cinematic Awards. He served as the host of this year's ceremony back in March and in 2017 and 2018. Not only is Kimmel returning, but so is his wife. Molly McKinney is back for a second year in a row to serve as an executive producer for the show. The Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, the body that puts on the Oscars, made the announcements Wednesday. In a news release, Kimmel joked he always dreamed of hosting the Oscars exactly 4 times. The Oscars will be given out on March 10th, 2024. That's all for business and entertainment. Next up is Ethan Spazarski with all the latest in Waynesburg sports.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the second floor. Time. Seriously, it's open all week.
Hello everybody, welcome back into our Waynesburg Sports Report. I'm Ethan Spazarski. Weekend travel to Cleveland, Ohio to compete in the Bill Sudick Holiday Tournament. They would go 1-1 on the tournament and are 2-1 on the young season. Their next game is also on Saturday against the Bethany Bison, was they're on the road with their tip-off set for 3 o'clock. In other Waynesburg sports, the wrestling team has their dual matches this Saturday when the Waynesburg team has 3 dual matches. They'll face off against the Verret at 11 a.m., Lycoming at 12:30, and Shippensburg at 2 p.m. You can catch all of these matches on the Waynesburg University Sports Network with our stream starting at 10:45. That's going to do it for me here at the Sports Desk. I'm going to throw it down to the man with a hotline bling, Logan Lepiscopo, for some weather.
Welcome back into the Newscast Live at 5. I'm the guy with the hotline bling, Logan Lepiscopo, with your full weekly weather forecast. It's currently 60 degrees outside here in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and the temperature will gently decrease throughout the night. Friday's weather will be polar opposite compared to today. The sun was shining, but tomorrow the clouds will be raining down on us with a high of 61 and a low of 45. Saturday, the sun will be calling for you through the clouds on a partly cloudy day with a high of 50 and a low of 33. Sunday, we will be back with daylight. A sunny day with a high of 49 and a low of 31. For all my Waynesburg members only, Monday's weather will consist of a high of 50 and a low of 30 on a mostly cloudy day. Tuesday, the weather continues to be pretty and rough, kind of like Virginia Beach. After a couple days with the sun out, the rain will come back with a 65% chance, a high of 54 and a low of 36. Wednesday, we will be away from home here at Waynesburg since it will be our Thanksgiving break at the university. But for those staying in town, it will be a cloudy day with a high of 47 and a low of 32. That's all for me here at the Weather Wall. Back to the guys at the desk to close us out.
Thank you, Logan. That will do it for this edition of the Newscast Live at 5. For Tim Durkin, Ethan Spazarski, Keegan Robbie, and myself, Joe Venzel. We do not have Newscast next week. It is Thanksgiving. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And be sure to check back in 2 weeks.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.